I pull into the driveway of our cozy suburban house, just like I've done every day for the last 15 years. The late afternoon sun stretches long shadows across the well-manicured lawn. I turn off the engine and sit there for a moment, bracing myself for what's waiting inside. Another day of trying to teach restless teenagers the finer points of history has left me exhausted. But it's not the job that's weighing on my mind. It's what, or rather who, is behind that front door. Savannah, my wife. The woman I've loved for nearly 20 years. The woman who now feels like a stranger to me. I grab my worn leather bag from the passenger seat and head to the door. The house is quiet when I walk in, almost oppressively so. I loosen my tie and call out, "Savannah, I'm home." No response, not that I was expecting one. I toss my keys into the bowl by the door and make my way to the kitchen. A note on the fridge catches my eye. "Working late, don't wait up. S." I crumple the note in my hand. Working late again. The boutique she manages downtown has turned into her escape, her excuse. But I'm not clueless. I know there's more to it than that. The signs have been there for months. Late nights, secretive phone calls, the way she tenses up when I try to touch her. Our once fiery marriage has turned ice cold, and I'm left wondering where it all went wrong. I grab a beer from the fridge and collapse onto the couch, staring at the blank TV screen. The house feels empty, hollow. Just like our marriage. Part of me wants to confront her, to demand answers, but another part, the part still holding on to some hope, is terrified of what those answers might be. So I sit in silence, nursing my beer and my wounded pride. Hours go by. The sun sets, casting the living room in shadows. I've graded papers, prepped lessons, anything to keep my mind off things. But as the clock ticks past midnight, I can't ignore the gnawing worry in my gut anymore. The sound of tires crunching on the gravel pulls me out of my thoughts. Headlights sweep across the living room windows. I get up, heart pounding. But it's not Savannah's car pulling into the driveway. It's a sleek black sports car I don't recognize. Voices drift through the open window. A man's deep voice and Savannah's lilting laugh. My stomach churns as I move to the window, peeking out from behind the curtain. Savannah steps out of the passenger side, her hair tousled, her dress riding up as she stumbles slightly. She's drunk, and she's not alone. A tall, muscular guy circles the car, wrapping his arm around her waist. Even in the dim light, I know who he is. Jason Hunter, the town's most notorious contractor, infamous for his shady deals and intimidating presence. I watch, frozen, as they head towards the front door. Keys jingle, and then they're inside. "Kyle!" Savannah calls out, her words a bit slurred. "You up?" I step out of the shadows, keeping my face calm even though I don't feel it. "I'm here." Savannah's eyes widen in surprise, then narrow with something that looks like contempt. Jason, on the other hand, smirks. Well, he drawls, his arm still wrapped possessively around my wife's waist. "If it isn't the history teacher, up past his bedtime, huh?" I ignore him, focusing on Savannah. "Where have you been?" She rolls her eyes. "Out, having fun. Something you wouldn't get." The words sting, but I push past the pain. "It's late. You should get some rest." Jason laughs, a harsh, mocking sound. "Oh, she'll get plenty of rest after I'm done with her." I clench my fists, fighting to keep my cool. "I think it's time for you to leave." "I don't think so," Jason sneers. He looks at Savannah. "Ready to head upstairs, babe?" "Show your husband what a real man looks like." Savannah giggles, the sound like shards of glass in my ears. She starts up the stairs, pulling Jason along with her. "Don't wait up for me, Kyle," she calls over her shoulder. "Tonight's gonna be a blast." They disappear upstairs, leaving me standing there in the living room, frozen. The sound of our bedroom door slamming shut echoes through the house. I don't move. I can't move. The betrayal, so blatant and cruel, has left me numb. Minutes tick by. Maybe hours. I just stand there, listening to the muffled sounds coming from upstairs, each one like a dagger to my heart. Eventually the noises stop. The bedroom door opens, and Jason strolls down the stairs, looking disheveled but satisfied. He pauses at the bottom, glaring at me with disdain. "Hey, loser," he says, his voice oozing arrogance. "I'm taking your wife out again tomorrow night. We're gonna have a wild time, and there's nothing you can do about it." I don't say a word. My jaw clenched so tight I think my teeth might crack. Jason laughs, slapping me on the shoulder as he passes. "Thanks for sharing, Teach. She's a real firecracker." The front door closes behind him, and I'm alone again. But not for long. Savannah appears at the top of the stairs, wrapped in a silk robe. Her hair's a mess, her makeup smudged. She looks at me with a mix of pity and disgust. "You're pathetic, you know that?" she spits. "Standing there, letting another man fucks your wife in your own bed. God, I can't believe I ever loved you." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut, but I don't flinch. I meet her eyes, and for the first time, I see her clearly. The woman I loved is gone, replaced by this cruel, selfish person. "Get out," I say, my voice low and dangerous. She blinks, caught off guard by my tone. "What?" I said, "Get out. Pack your things and leave, now." Savannah's eyes narrow. "You can't kick me out. This is my house too." I step toward her and she backs up a step. "Not anymore. You've got 10 minutes to pack a bag and get out, or I'm calling the cops." "You wouldn't dare," she hisses. "Try me." We lock eyes for a long moment, the tension thick in the air. Finally, Savannah spins around and storms back to the bedroom. 9 minutes later, she reappears with a suitcase. She pauses at the top of the stairs, her chin held high in defiance. "You'll regret this, Kyle. I'll take you for everything you've got." I don't respond, just hold the front door open. Savannah huffs as she brushes past me, dragging her suitcase behind her. As she reaches her car, she turns back. "This isn't over." I meet her gaze one last time. "You're right. It's not." I close the door and lock it, listening as her car starts and speeds out of the driveway. Only then do I allow myself to feel the full weight of what's happened. The betrayal, the humiliation, the end of everything I thought I knew. I slide down to the floor, my back against the door, and let the tears come. But as I sit there in the dark, something else starts to build inside me. A cold, hard anger that pushes aside the pain and grief. Savannah was right about one thing. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. As the first light of dawn begins to filter through the windows, I stand up, my mind clear, my purpose set. Savannah and Jason think they've broken me, that I'm weak and pathetic. They're about to find out just how wrong they are. I head straight to the study and fire up my computer. It's time to gather intel, to plan. Savannah and Jason have no idea what's coming their way, but they will. Oh, they will. The next few days blur together in a haze of cold determination. I go through the motions at work, teaching my classes as if nothing's changed, but inside, I'm simmering, plotting, collecting the ammunition I need for the battle I'm about to wage. After school, my covert operation begins. I follow Savannah discreetly, watching her every move. I see her flit from the boutique to various cafes, meeting with different men, laughing and flirting like she doesn't have a care in the world. One evening, I trail her to a dimly lit bar on the outskirts of town. She's meeting Jason again. I slide into a corner booth, nursing a drink I have no intention of touching. "Well, if it isn't my favorite little vixen," Jason's voice booms across the room as Savannah struts in. She giggles, slipping onto the bar stool next to him. "Miss me, big guy?" "You know it, babe. How's that loser holding up?" Savannah's laugh is sharp, cruel. "Oh, Kyle? He's pathetic. Kicked me out. Can you believe it? As if that's going to stop me from taking him for everything he's got." I grip my glass tighter, my knuckles turning white, but I force myself to stay calm, to listen. "You really think you can squeeze money out of that pencil pusher?" Jason asks, clearly skeptical. Savannah leans in closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Trust me, I've got it all figured out. I've been siphoning money from our joint account for months. By the time I'm done, he'll have nothing left but his precious history books." My blood boils, but a cold smile creeps across my face. Savannah has just handed me exactly what I needed. I slip out of the bar unnoticed, my mind racing with possibilities. It's time to take this to the next level. Back at home, I power up my computer again. Years of teaching have made me pretty good at research, and now I'm putting those skills to a different use. I hack into Savannah's social media accounts, her email, her financial records. What I find is a treasure trove of damning information. Flirtatious messages to multiple men, not just Jason, financial transactions that prove she's been stealing from our joint account, and conversations that reveal her true feelings about me, about our marriage. As I dig deeper, I uncover even more dirt. Shady dealings at the boutique, tax evasion, a tangled web of lies and deceit that stretches far beyond our broken marriage. I lean back in my chair, a grim satisfaction settling over me. Savannah thinks she's going to take everything from me. She has no idea what's coming. The next morning, I set my plan in motion. I create an anonymous email account and start sending carefully crafted messages to Savannah's friends and family. Each one contains just enough information to stir up suspicion, to plant seeds of doubt. To her best friend Lisa, "Did you know Savannah's been sleeping with half the town? You might want to keep an eye on your husband." To her sister Emma, "Savannah's been stealing money from Kyle for months. The police might be getting involved soon." To her mother, "Your daughter isn't who you think she is. Ask her about the affairs, the embezzlement. The truth is about to come out." I hit send on the last message and sit back, waiting for the chaos to unfold. It doesn't take long. By lunchtime, my phone is buzzing with notifications. I've been careful to make it look like the leak came from someone close to Savannah, someone who knows her secrets. I pick up a call from Emma, Savannah's sister. "Kyle? What the hell is going on? I just got this weird email about Savannah." I put on my best act, sounding confused and concerned. "Email? What email? What did it say?" Emma hesitates. It said Savannah's been stealing money from you and something about affairs." "Kyle, is this true?" I let out a heavy sigh, making sure to infuse my voice with just the right amount of pain and betrayal. "Emma, I didn't want anyone to know, but yes, it's true. Savannah's been unfaithful, and I've noticed some discrepancies in our accounts. I was hoping to handle it quietly, but—" "Oh my God," Emma breathes. "Kyle, I'm so sorry. I had no idea." "It's not your fault," I reassure her. I don't know what to do." After I hang up, I allow myself a small smile. The seed has been planted. Now I just have to watch it grow. Over the next few days, I keep up my campaign. More leaked messages, more concerned phone calls. I watch from the sidelines as Savannah's world starts to unravel. Her friends begin to pull away from her. I overhear whispered conversations at the grocery store, see the judgmental looks people give her when she walks down the street. In our small town, gossip spreads like wildfire, and Savannah is caught in the blaze. But I'm far from finished. It's time to hit her where it really hurts, her professional life. I arrange for an anonymous tip to be sent to the IRS about possible tax fraud at her boutique. Then I start targeting her customers. Using the intel I gathered from her business emails, I compile a list of the boutique's top clients. I send each one a carefully crafted message, hinting at poor quality products and unethical business practices. The impact is almost immediate. The boutique's foot traffic dwindles to almost nothing. I drive by one afternoon and see Savannah standing in the empty shop, phone pressed to her ear, waving her arms around in frustration. That night, I get a call from her. I think about letting it go to voicemail, but decide to answer. Time to play the concerned ex-husband. "Hello? Kyle." Savannah's voice is frantic. "Kyle, I need your help." I inject a note of confusion into my tone. "Savannah? What's wrong?" "Everything," she cries. "The boutique is failing. My friends won't talk to me, and now the IRS is auditing me. I don't know what to do." I pause, letting her stew in the silence for a moment. "I'm sorry to hear that, Savannah, but I'm not sure what you expect me to do about it." Can't you talk to people? Tell them it's all a misunderstanding?" I let out a bitter laugh. "A misunderstanding? Like how you misunderstood our marriage vows?" Savannah's voice turns desperate. "Kyle, please. I'm sorry about all that. I made a mistake, but I need your help. For a brief moment, I'm tempted to reveal everything, to let her know exactly who's orchestrated her downfall. But no, it's too soon. There's still more to play out. I'll think about it, I say finally. But Savannah, I think you need to take a long, hard look at your choices. Maybe this is karma catching up with you. I hang up before she can respond, feeling a cold satisfaction settle in my chest. The next part of my plan focuses on Jason. It's time to take him out of the equation. I spend the next few days gathering evidence of his shady business dealings, his connections to local criminals. It doesn't take much effort. Jason isn't nearly as smart as he thinks he is. Once I've collected enough, I invite him over. He shows up at my door, as cocky as ever. Well, well, he sneers. The cuckold wants to talk. What's the matter, Teach? Need some tips on how to satisfy a woman? I force a smile. Actually, Jason, I wanted to talk about Savannah. His eyes narrow. What about her? I gesture toward the living room. Why don't we sit down? This might take a while. Reluctantly, he follows me in. I wait until he's seated before I begin. I know about your affair with my wife, I start. And normally, I'd be furious. But I'm willing to forgive Savannah if you step out of the picture. Jason laughs, loud and mocking. You've got to be kidding me. You think I care about your forgiveness? Savannah's mine now, loser. Deal with it. I nod, as if I expected this reaction. I figured you'd say that, so let me put it another way. I pull out a thick folder and drop it on the coffee table between us. How about you end things with Savannah, or I take this to the police? Jason's face drains of color as he flips through the folder. Tax evasion, money laundering, connections to known criminals. It's all laid out in black and white. Where did you get this? He stammers. I lean forward, my voice low and threatening. That doesn't matter. What matters is what I'll do with it if you don't follow my instructions to the letter. Jason swallows hard. What do you want? It's simple. You're going to break things off with Savannah tonight, and you're going to make it hurt. He looks up, confusion flickering across his face. What do you mean, make it hurt? I smile, cold and calculated. I want you to break her heart, Jason. I want you to make her feel as worthless and used as she made me feel. Can you do that? Jason nods slowly, a hint of respect appearing in his eyes. Damn. Didn't know you had it in you. There's a lot you don't know about me, I reply. Now get out of here, and remember, I'll be watching. As Jason leaves, I feel a slight twinge of guilt, but I shove it aside. Savannah brought this on herself. She's about to learn that actions have consequences. That night, I park down the street from Savannah's new apartment. I watch as Jason's car pulls up. He goes inside, and for the next hour I hear muffled shouting, the sound of things being thrown. Finally, Jason emerges. Even from a distance, I can see the satisfied smirk on his face. He catches my eye as he gets into his car, giving me a nod before driving off. I wait a few more minutes, then approach the apartment. The door is slightly ajar. I push it open to find Savannah curled up on the floor, sobbing. She looks up as I enter, her face a mask of pain and confusion. Kyle, what are you doing here? I kneel beside her, my voice gentle. I heard shouting. I was worried about you. Savannah breaks down again, burying her face in her hands. He left me, Kyle. Jason left me. He said I was nothing but a cheap thrill, that I'm worthless. I pull her into my arms, stroking her hair as she cries. It's okay. I'm here now. As I comfort her, a cold smile spreads across my face. The next morning, I wake early, my mind already racing with plans for the day ahead. Savannah is still asleep on the couch where I left her last night, looking small and fragile. It's almost enough to make me feel sorry for her. Almost. I brew a pot of coffee, the aroma filling the apartment. Savannah stirs, her eyes fluttering open. Kyle, she mumbles, confusion evident in her voice. What are you doing here? I hand her a steaming mug. I stayed to make sure you were okay. How are you feeling? She takes a sip, wincing. Like I've been hit by a truck. God, what a mess. I sit beside her, my voice soft and comforting. Want to talk about it? Savannah shakes her head, then pauses, reconsidering. Actually, yeah, I think I do. For the next hour, she spills her heart. The affair with Jason, the thrill of sneaking around, the way it all came crashing down. I just don't get it, she says, her voice breaking as tears well up. Everything was fine, and then suddenly, it all came crashing down. My friends, the boutique, and now Jason. What's happening to me, Kyle? I pat her hand, my voice soft and soothing. Sometimes life has a way of catching up with us, Savannah. Maybe this is the wake-up call you needed. She looks at me, tears brimming in her eyes. How can you be so kind to me after everything I've done? I force a smile. That's what friends are for, right? Savannah nods, sniffling. I don't deserve you, Kyle. I'm so sorry for how I treated you. It's okay, I lie smoothly. Why don't you go freshen up? I'll whip us up some breakfast. As Savannah disappears into the bathroom, I allow myself a small, cold smile. Everything is falling into place. While she's in the shower, I make a few phone calls. By the time Savannah reappears, looking a bit more composed, there's a knock at the door. I open it to reveal two stern-faced police officers. Can I help you? I ask, feigning confusion. The taller officer steps forward. We're looking for Savannah Reynolds. Is she here? Savannah appears behind me, her face pale. I'm Savannah Reynolds. What's going on? The officer pulls out a warrant. Mrs. Reynolds, we have some questions regarding financial irregularities at your boutique. We're going to need you to come with us. Savannah's eyes widen in panic. What? No, there must be some mistake. Kyle ... She turns to me pleading. Kyle, tell them. Tell them it's a misunderstanding. I shake my head, my expression a perfect blend of confusion and concern. I'm sorry, Savannah. I don't know anything about your business finances. As the officers lead her away, Savannah looks back at me, betrayal etched on her face. I close the door, leaning against it with a sigh. Phase 1 of the final act is complete. The next few weeks blur together in a whirlwind of activity. Savannah is released on bail, but the damage is done. The local paper runs a front-page story about the boutique's financial troubles and Savannah's arrest. In our small town, it's the scandal of the year. I play my role to perfection, the concerned ex-husband, always there with a sympathetic ear and a shoulder to cry on. Savannah clings to me like I'm her lifeline, completely unaware that I'm the one pulling the strings. One evening, as we sit in her apartment discussing her legal options, Savannah breaks down. I just don't understand, she sobs. How did everything go so wrong? I hand her a tissue. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, Savannah. She looks up at me, her eyes red and swollen. But I wasn't a good person, was I? I hurt you. I cheated. I stole. Maybe I deserve this. I pat her hand gently. Nobody deserves this, Savannah. But actions do have consequences. She nods, wiping her eyes. You're right. God, Kyle, what would I do without you? I smile, but it doesn't reach my eyes. That's what I'm here for. As the days go by, I tighten my grip on Savannah's life. I help her manage her dwindling finances, slowly but surely taking control of every aspect of her existence. Savannah, I say one morning over coffee, I've been thinking. With all your legal troubles, it might be wise if you sign over the boutique to me. Just temporarily, of course, to protect your assets. She hesitates, uncertainty flashing across her face. I don't know, Kyle. The boutique is all I have left. I lean in, my voice full of sincerity. Trust me, Savannah. It's for the best. Once this all blows over, you can have it back. I promise. After a long pause, she nods. Okay. If you think it's best? I smile, giving her hand a reassuring squeeze. I do. Let's get those papers drawn up. With the boutique now under my control, I move swiftly. I sell off the inventory, liquidate the assets, and pocket the profits. Savannah, too overwhelmed by her legal troubles, hardly even notices. Weeks turn into months. Savannah's world has shrunk to the confines of her small apartment. She rarely ventures out, too ashamed to face the town's judging stares. I've become her only link to the outside world. One evening, as I'm getting ready to leave, Savannah grabs my arm. "Kyle," she says, her voice small and hesitant. I need to ask you something." I turn to her, raising an eyebrow. "What is it?" She takes a deep breath. "I know I have no right to ask this, but do you think, could we try again? Us, I mean?" For a moment, her question takes me by surprise. Then I see the desperation in her eyes, the loneliness, and I know it's time for the final blow. I step back, shaking my head slowly. "Oh, Savannah, did you really think that was an option?" Confusion crosses her face. "What do you mean?" I laugh, cold and cruel. "You still don't get it, do you? Everything that's happened to you, your friends abandoning you, the boutique collapsing, Jason leaving, the arrest, it was all me." Savannah stumbles back, as if I've physically struck her. "What? No, that's not possible." "Isn't it?" I pull out my phone, showing her the anonymous email account I used to spread the rumors about her. "I leaked your affairs to everyone in town. I tipped off the IRS about your creative bookkeeping. I even blackmailed Jason into leaving you." Tears stream down Savannah's face. "But why, Kyle? Why would you do this?" I step closer, my voice low and menacing. "Because you destroyed me, Savannah. You humiliated me, betrayed me, and tried to take everything from me. So I decided to return the favor." Savannah collapses to the floor, sobs shaking her body. "I'm sorry," she cries. "I'm so sorry, Kyle. Please forgive me." I look down at her, feeling nothing but cold satisfaction. "Forgive you? Oh, Savannah, I'm not done with you yet." I pull out a stack of papers from my briefcase. "These are divorce papers. I've already signed them. You'll notice that I get everything. The house, the car, what's left of our savings. You get nothing." Savannah looks up, her face a mask of despair. "You can't do this. I'll fight it in court." I smirk. "With what money?" "In case you've forgotten, you're broke and facing jail time for tax evasion. Face it, Savannah. You've lost." I drop the papers in front of her, along with a pen. "Sign them. Now." With trembling hands, Savannah picks up the pen. She looks up at me one last time, a flicker of the woman I once loved in her eyes. "Kyle, please don't do this." For a moment, I almost hesitate. But then I remember the pain, the humiliation, the betrayal. My resolve hardens. "Sign the papers, Savannah. It's over." Defeated, she scrawls her signature on the dotted line. I snatch up the papers, tucking them securely into my briefcase. "Well," I say, adjusting my tie, "I guess this is goodbye." Savannah doesn't respond, her sobs the only sound in the small apartment. I walk to the door, pausing with my hand on the knob. "Oh, and Savannah? You might want to start packing. The landlord, that's me now, by the way, is evicting you. You have 30 days. With that, I walk out, closing the door on Savannah and the life we once shared. As I step into the cool night air, I take a deep breath. It's done. I've won. I climb into my car and start the engine. As I pull away from the curb, I catch a glimpse of Savannah's silhouette in the window. Small, broken, defeated. For a fleeting moment, I feel a twinge of something. Regret, maybe guilt. But I push it aside. Savannah made her choices, and now she has to live with the consequences. As I drive home, to my home, my victory, I can't help but smile. Savannah thought she could destroy me, but she underestimated me. She thought I was weak, but I proved her wrong. I pull into the driveway of my house, cutting the engine. The night is quiet, peaceful. I step out of the car, breathing in the crisp, cool air. Tomorrow, I'll wake up and go to work. I'll teach my students about the great battles of history, about victors and the vanquished, and I'll know deep in my soul what it truly means to win. Because I didn't just beat Savannah. I obliterated her. I took everything from her, just as she tried to take everything from me. An eye for an eye, a life for a life. As I unlock the front door, I pause, glancing back at the empty street. Somewhere out there, Savannah is alone, broken, with nothing left. And here I stand, triumphant. I step inside, closing the door behind me. The house is quiet, empty, but it's mine, all mine. I've won, and that's all that matters.